The dance of death is a reported strategy foxes use to hunt down prey. By enamoring a rodent or other small mammal with a spinning and twirling dance, the prey goes into a state called fascination or hypnosis. Now, hypnosis is already a highly debated subject among humans, let alone with animals. We can come to several conclusions, though. Visual mesmerization and hallucination are both phenomena. Fascination is also true. And mainly where you see fascination is with snakes or birds that stare at their prey, and the prey stares back, frozen and unable to move or take its eyes off. This happens to humans sometimes too. This state of being charmed or in suspended animation is usually when something extraordinary and dangerous happens. For example, a tornado, a tsunami, or volcano, some major catastrophe. You stand there and watch in pure fascination rather than trying to escape to safety. Or maybe it's a killer or a gunman that appears. It's not really in the category of flight or fight. It's more like this sense of unreality grips you. It's different also from paralysis. I think it could be described as this macabre enjoyment of your own impending death. I believe there is a related idea, aptly named the call of the void, where you get intrusive thoughts to just drive off the road or jump off from a height. So I can imagine if you're a field mouse and this bright colored cobra just emerges from the grass in front of you, and you know without a question it's in range to catch you, yet the entire design of the cobra, from its movement, its color, its sounds, is meant to be beautiful and graceful and fascinating. And so the field mouse does nothing but sit there, kind of in a trance. Like dissociation, it's a suspended animation. I think most of us have felt that before to some level. Maybe it's just seeing something about to tip over and fall even when we have the power to stop it. We become fascinated. It's quite a curious phenomenon. Another example that fits into this, I imagine, is deer in headlights. It's messed up, but people make fun of deer. Most of the time it's dark, and suddenly this giant bright light flashes in front of you. The deer can't see what the source of the light is, and to an extent, I'm sure it's fascinating, even though there's probably danger being sensed. Humans would think we were seeing God or an alien were visiting us if that happened, and likewise, we would just stand there waiting for it to come. So fascination is a form of hypnosis, or you could say hypnosis is a form of fascination. To an extent that they are probably synonyms. The stage hypnosis is less likely to be legitimate, but hypnosis is possible. We are hypnotized by TV all the time, and even more than TV, by dance. Dance is inherently, and it's supposed to be hypnotic and fascinating. And there are two purposes in dance from a hunter's perspective: to fascinate your prey, either for seduction or to kill. Either way, you have dominated your victim and can now move in. Animals and humans alike dance for mating. This ritual is as old as time, it seems. Rhythmic and frenetic movement and dancing is fascinating to almost all biological systems, even when one species performs for another. And this is to say nothing of the ocean-based animals that take advantage of their own environment to camouflage and shimmer towards their prey. It is kind of in the same strategy behavior as animal mimicry, which is kind of a not very well understood phenomenon. The way the fox dances is by holding its tail in its mouth and spinning in a circle in front of its prey. To the prey, I'm sure they are seeing an orange and white blur towering over them and wondering what is happening, if not outright fascinated by the mesmerizing movement of the fox. To use a maybe relevant example, it's like in a video game. When you start jumping to get the other team to stop attacking you, and they jump with you, and then you ambush them. When two sides or organisms can't communicate vocally, movement is the next best option. Hunting is often compared to a dance. Now you might think this is a romanticized way of explaining it, but all movement is a dance of sorts, and hunting is no different. Interestingly enough, the fox is closely related to the seductress or femme fatale archetype, one of the most famous from history being Da-ji. She was identified as a fox spirit and sometimes the nine-tailed fox spirit, and ultimately led to the downfall of the Shang dynasty. So feared of fox spirits at one time, the worship of foxes was banned in medieval China and their shrines and cults made illegal. They say the practice of foot binding comes from Da-ji, as she tried to hide her fox feet. She enjoyed torturing people and in general embodied and through the legends personified the most malevolent of the femme fatale. Fox worship predates Da-ji, of course, and I believe the entire lore around foxes comes from shamanism, something that is seldom considered to have much effect on human history and culture and anthropology. Shamanism is our animal mimicry, with often a spiritual side, but at its core, it's the way our species mimics animals. Back when we didn't kill most animals on the planet, humans interested in them could have seen foxes going about their day and performing the dance of death. Anytime there is a particularly interesting phenomena, humans are instantly fascinated by it and explore it and form a cult and beliefs around it. A whole lore is built. To this day, foxes are seen as spiritual by some and an embodiment of that femme fatale seductress. All of that because the fox's dance of death was a popular or well-known hunting method that ancient or maybe not so ancient humans observed. I think to help break the box in which we view the world, which is that we are a separate entity on a hierarchy of life and that there's no connection to real biological processes and natural phenomena, to our legends and myths and archetypes. So the fox is capable of hunting with electromagnetic calculations, as shown on this popular video, and for this the fox is either able to get a sense of the electromagnetic field of the rodent, or it's taking advantage of Earth's electromagnetic lines and paths, which, like those rodents digging under the snow, could use it either purposefully or default to those pathways unconsciously. But to return to fascination, there are many missing pieces in psychology, to the point where psychology probably isn't adequate in describing some of these phenomena. I think dance is one of those that goes beyond psychology, hormones, and biological instinct and things like that. It is movement that is attractive and charming, a language far older than body language even. For the fox, its movement is playing to that meta-emotion to charm and catch its prey. And humans, unconsciously, are still fascinated by that shamanic and seductory idea of what the fox symbolizes with its dance of death. Thanks for watching.